And hello everyone, it's Tom, it's FANzine Live, and today in the new releases videos, we are going to take a look at more comics coming out of SPX, the Small Press Expo 2024 in Bethesda, Maryland, that was held earlier this year. I still have quite a few books left. We are getting toward the end, but we've probably got at least another 2 or 3 videos left with really solid books. And so today I thought I would try to package together as best I could the full-size comics for SPX that I picked up. And I will say it was interesting. There weren't a lot of full-size comics, and there are plenty of reasons why that could be. But it is interesting to see that the mini comic format, that quarter page, eighth of a page size comic, and then the full-size magazine like this program guide for SPX, they were very popular. And then of course the hardback books and the softcover books and the like. But there weren't, at least as best I could see, as many full-size comics. So we're going to take a look at 3 of them today. The first book we are going to take a look at is Here Comes Calico, #1, by Sigma Comics. It's a special prologue issue for book 1. This is a superhero, of course, and the superhero is in the business of trying to rescue, and when impossible to rescue, avenge the abused animals. And so it's a pretty nifty book from a production point of view. The paperwork is, this is old school newsprint, and I'm not sure how they did it, but it's really impressive, because I have not been able to find anybody who could mass produce a comic book on newsprint. You can see the borders go all the way out to the edge. The artwork is beautiful. The coloring, really well done. It's just, it's a nice looking book. My issue with the book is that it is extremely violent. And there's a little bit of sex in it, but when they say here, rated M, 17 plus, explicit content, they're not kidding. They are not kidding one bit. So because I don't want to run afoul of YouTube, and honestly, I feel like I built up a little bit of trust with you as viewers, I can tell you that for what it is, this is a really good book. Art is top-notch. Story is pretty well told. There are actually 2 stories in this. He packaged them together. The publisher packaged them together. The coloring is great. It looks wonderful on that matte finished of the newsprint. It's really neat. In fact, I'll open up to one page that I think is kind of neat. He also did a cute little thing with fake ads and actually showing you where you can pick stuff up, and it kind of plays to the old school ads that we used to have in comics back in the day. But anyway, I mean, you can see character work is great, artwork is great, coloring, it's perfect. And especially for this creature of the night type character that is Calico, to have the black borders, the slightly washed out colors because of the newsprint. I mean, it's beautiful. It is a great looking book. And so if you are into if you are into hero books, almost a Batman style thing, pick this up. It is great. And I also just today discovered that they are doing a Kickstarter for their latest edition of this. So I'll put that link in as well. It's really a good book. It just is a bit violent for me. So I'll leave it at that. But also, I will say also that they do this out of a support for an animal sanctuary, the Catskill Animal Sanctuary, 150-acre refuge in New York's Hudson Valley. So, I mean, this is all done with very, very, yeah, and then there's another one here, the Animal Welfare Institute. So, I mean, this is a very high-minded effort. It's a very modern take on heroes, and it's really, really graphic. So, with that, here comes Calico, #1. Highly recommended. Just go in with eyes open. And next up, we have Starside by Dylan Klein, Lane Brett Schneider, and that's on the script, and Jordan Chow on the art and lettering. Here's a little quick description of it. It says, when a 16-year-old Jack is ripped away from his life on Earth and taken deeper into the universe, he discovers interplanetary slavers, a crusading army, and the origins of humanity. Interesting stuff. Okay, nice looking cover. This is a full-size comic book. Saddle stitched, professionally printed, very nicely done. And it starts with a really interesting scene of a character, looks human to me. He's got a nice looking sword running through I don't know, an alien type forest. And he comes across what looks like a giant spaceship that has been crashed so long that maybe a tree has gone up through it. So anyway, he goes through and he hops into the thing, and then he goes to a flashback. Flashback is, of course, earlier. And here, I'm going to have to hold it like this so you can see through the ring cam. A lot of exposition. A lot of exposition. But he jumps into the school bus. I really like this page where nice establishing shot of the school bus. Then he gets a little tighter, a little tighter, a little tighter, all the way through. As he's riding the bus, you've got a fun little map that they put in, and then it looks like somebody had fun drawing a school campus in a downtown area. Kind of neat. A little more exposition introducing this secondary character. And then everything breaks loose. And a very similar looking spaceship arrives. Everybody runs down to the shelter. And of course the shelter doors don't hold. Looks like an alien shows up. Looks like multiple aliens show up. And the adult tries with a lead pipe, steel pipe, tries to defend his children, his charges, and instead gets zapped. But notice that the alien collapses, and something is going on now with the adult. And it says, follow the adventure of Starside comic. A few thoughts on this. First off, the art is really nice. Jordan Chow did a very nice job. It's cartoony enough It is realistic enough. Does a lot of stuff with backgrounds, and you don't see that in a ton of independent comics. But no, he's got backgrounds in most everything. There's an exception. There's kind of an exception, but really, he's got backgrounds all over the place. So he did a very nice job. My issue with this is I like the present day stuff. I like how it switched in this moment of rest and reflection to the flashback. And then this flashback, in my opinion, goes way too long. Probably could have cut the size on it by half. Get straight to the action, which technically is still in the flashback, but at least there's some action going on. Way too much exposition. And then I'm not sure I would have left the cliffhanger at that. It's a good book, and this was the first of many issues that they were selling at SPX. I just think that it could have been paced a little faster, and they probably could have packaged, if they're going at this speed, they probably could have packaged the first two issues together. As a case in point, I'm going to pull out my Patriot that I wrote, and I'm here to tell you, I had about, in this initial discussion with the counselor, interviewer, Teresa, you can see it did go pretty long. Okay, there's the beginning on the flashbacks. So I had 4 pages of exposition. I actually had written maybe another 3, 4, 5 pages of exposition. I had another character that I introduced. I did all sorts of other stuff. And I just felt that, you know what? For the story, it didn't advance things fast enough. And so I chopped it down to the bare minimum, including a splash page. And we just moved as fast as we could through that so that we could get to the story. I think in that same vein, I think that Starside would have benefited from that. That all said, it's a pretty good book. So I'm going to leave it at that. If you are interested in the idea behind this of a interplanetary slavers, a crusading army, and the origins of humanity, this is a pretty good one. So Starside, issue 1. Let's take a look at the next one in a moment. Our last book in the new releases is Housy's Michael Mouse, featuring Michael, David, Goonie, and Donna. And as you can see, it is a satirical take on characters that were created by Walt Disney. And I'll read the disclaimers. This is published by Floating World Comics. It's pretty cool. It also is kind of in the vein of another book. It is extremely violent. I do like, however, that they put the gold leaf on the end, almost in a little golden book style. Of course, because this is all about a drug hit. You've got your suitcases, you've got your dollars, you've got, looks like razor blades, and yeah. So anyway, I'm going to share with you a little of this, and it is by Mitch Lohmeyer. And Mitch writes here, The first 2 pages of Michael Mouse originally aired on Instagram on November 10th, 2020. It was never meant to be more than these 2 pages, but it quickly got shared around and soon became clear the story had to continue. It eventually wrapped up on October 20th of 2022, and you now hold in your hands a printed version. Thank you for your support. Thanks to Floating World, don't tell Walt. And then this is the important part. And for those who are playing around with corporate-owned characters, this is a really important thing to see. It says here at the bottom, this book contains material that has been used for the purpose of parody, satire, and commentary, which falls under the doctrine of fair use. The intent behind the use of copyrighted material is to create a transformative and humorous work that critiques and comments on the original content. The use of copyrighted material is limited in scope and proportionate to the purpose of the parody. The aim is not to infringe upon the rights of the original characters, but rather to engage in creative expression that is protected by fair use principles. If you're going to go down this road, especially when you're dealing with the mouse, make sure that you understand fair use and that you vet your stuff with fair use. Now, back to the book itself and the story. It is violent. The language is extremely coarse. The characterizations are kind of amusing just because they are so different than what one would expect out of something resembling a Walt Disney. But what I really felt like I was reading was a drug, an illicit drug transaction story with kind of the evil character, the henchman, the character who keeps looking for repentance and keeps getting drawn in, the disapproving wife. I mean, the whole thing. The story could have been done without using the Disney characters. However, I think the purpose of using them was to kind of show how evil, if you will, he could make, especially the Mickey Mouse character, who they call Michael. It's a great looking book. It is immaculately printed. I will show you some of it, but I'm not going to show you a whole bunch just because language, there really isn't any sex, but there is a ton of violence in this, and I don't want to go down that road with this. So anyway, I will share with you the first 2 pages just so you can see, and things that, first off, you can see glossy paper. It is comic book size. I love how this has a faux newsprint, kind of a weathered newsprint type look that goes throughout the book. And as you can see, it's Old Housy's official Michael Mouse. He uses the 12-panel page pretty much consistently through the book, with a couple combined panels like that, as you can see for the title there. But you've got yourself your Mickey character, and you've got your Donald character. So you've got Dave the Duck, David the Duck, and Michael the Mouse. And basically, Michael the Mouse has come back into the scene, and he's got a whole batch of you-know-what from you-know-where. Meet me at Goonies tonight, sunset. I can hook you up, my friend. And David is saying, please, no, I can't. I'm going clean now for the family. Michael is not impressed. And you can see things start getting dark. David, I'll see you tonight. Click. So then you can see that David is struggling, and he says, I think I'm going to go out tonight. And of course, he has something to do with the kids, and he's going to go out anyway. So I'm going to leave it at that, because this thing gets into a really wild, crazy, and violent evening in Michael Mouse Land. It's really something else. It's a great, very well told story. The artwork is really good. Combines that underground flair that you may have recognized from the past, from your 60s and 70s type comics, where they would do this type of parody work with a little more freedom than I think we might have now dealing with copyrighted characters. But it's really well done. The artwork is good. The characters are recognizable. It's great. It's just wow, holy cow. This is a drug story. So Michael Mouse, highly recommended. Floating World Comics has it. We'll have the information in the show notes. And yeah, no kidding. Have a good one, everyone. We will catch you next time.